Welcome, children of God, loved and saved by Jesus. This is Pastor Paul Steinberg, son of Ken and Dawn, my first disciplers, husband of Rebecca, father of 6, and this is the Christ for Disciplers podcast that 10 minutes a day takes time to focus on getting Christ into our hearts and our minds so we can get it into the hearts and minds of our kids. Have you ever raised farm animals? I mean, it used to be that a lot of people were raised on farms. That was the majority of people. I mean, in world history, probably still today, most people are agrarian, but cities are growing like crazy. The place where I serve right now, people just don't know what it's like to raise animals. And raising, dogs and cats is a little different. A lot of people kind of know that. A lot of people just aren't used to animals. But if you've ever raised farm animals, you know how much you can love them. Even though they're material or food, you still kind of love them. You get to see them and you get to learn their unique personalities even just a little bit. I know this one amazing guy. His name is George, and he was a farmer that lived close to where my father-in-law was a pastor. This guy is just great in a lot of different ways. He's a great Christ follower, a great father, sings in the choir, just a great guy. Just always had great interaction with me as I met him when I was probably 19 and engaged to my wife. He's just a good guy. And the story goes that when he got married, he was already a farmer, a dairy farmer. So he had all these cows, and he got married, and he had people lined up to milk his herd while he was gone, but he came back early from his honeymoon. He just had to come back. Why? He was missing his girls, as in his cows. He was missing them. He just cared about them. He couldn't be gone. His heart was connected. He loved his wife, but man, he also loved his animals. He just cared about them, and he was willing to sacrifice part of his honeymoon. And thankfully, his wife, who he's been married to for many years, was willing to go along with it, and she knew this guy. This was his character and his nature. He just loved his animals. Today, as we look for a Bible passage, as we continue on this search through 18 top Bible passages for discipling our kids, we look at a Bible verse that really stresses that our God sees us and loves us the way a perfect raiser of farm animals would. This is Psalm 23, verse 1. Now, the whole 23rd Psalm is great and useful, and if your kids are older, to have them memorize the whole thing is fantastic. Lots of great, powerful imagery. But with this Psalm, we have to make sure that we explain it to our kids. In Jesus' day or in King David's day, this Psalm would have been self-explanatory. This verse would have been, oh, I get that. But now people don't really understand what a shepherd does. But Psalm 23, verse 1, the Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. Now that's the NIV 2011 translation. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. Maybe you remember the famous King James Version. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. My dad tells me about when he was a kid. He had to memorize this Bible verse. Good thing. And he memorized it. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. And he didn't understand. Want meant to lack something, to need something. I'm not going to need anything because he's going to take care of it. He just thought I'm not supposed to want him. He didn't understand it. Just a reminder that if you have your kids memorize a Bible verse, not only have them repeat it, you need to go from mouth to ear and have them say it a number of times and reward them. Incentivize getting a Bible passage memorized. Give them a treat. Take them out. Give them whatever it is. Just reward them. If they have it down, make it a big deal, but make sure they understand it. That this verse is saying the Lord who keeps his promises, Yahweh, the Lord himself who gives us his name, he's my shepherd, my personal shepherd. I'm a sheep. And because he's my shepherd, I'm never going to miss out. And you can tie it into how Jesus is the good shepherd, how he is the one who lays down his life for the sheep. But this is written before that. And just the picture of a shepherd, we don't see it. But, sheep are just foolish and ridiculous. They are not designed to protect themselves. They would die. Lots of animals can defend themselves or would survive in the wild. But like my little puppy dog, Frosting, my little, 15-pound domesticated dog, he's scared of everything and he would die. He might last a little while, but he'd get run over by a car, he'd eat something he shouldn't, he'd get killed. He just isn't ready for it. And sheep just are not ready for it. They need somebody to protect them. They will be killed. They're just a little snack for all the evil that's out there, the animals that would kill them. And you can watch some YouTube videos and you can see how foolish sheep are, and you can see what a good shepherds that still work today, how they take care of everything. They are the gate for the sheep. They'll sleep right in the little doorway to the pen, so sheep can't get out. They put themselves between themselves and the wolves. They'll call out, and the sheep will recognize the voice of the shepherd and call. All those things that are in the Bible, you can see on YouTube and demonstrate that to your kids and talk about how the Lord loves those sheep, that he'd be willing to lay down his life. He'll go climb and leave the 99 behind and go get the one. And that shepherd, he knows exactly what we need. He uses his staff, and he's going to prod us and pick on us. And when we're foolish, that's the law. He's going to give us the gospel. He's going to lay down his life for us. He will sacrifice himself when the wolves and the enemies come so that we don't get killed. Now, we're assured that because we have the Lord as our shepherd, we don't lack anything. Unfortunately, especially if you're someone in America, if your kids are being raised in America, we're used to having a lot, and we're used to always wanting more. It's so easy to look at somebody else and say they have a better this or they have more of that. It's good for our kids to look at other cultures and nations and other people and realize they might have a lot more than they think. In a lot of the schools I work with, they often think they don't have a lot because they compare themselves to people they see on TV or maybe the suburbs in their imagination. But then they get to meet people from Zambia, some of my friends there, and they realize the children in the schools there, they don't even have one book for each individual student. They don't have marker board. They don't have computers. They have like two old computers in their whole school. They have so much here. That's reality, but also to know that God makes sure you don't lack what you really need. Maybe you might want more, but he gives you what you need, both spiritually and physically. This truth is what can lead you to have maybe a pretty serious discussion with your kids to talk about how they're okay. They don't have to worry. The Lord will take care of them. And maybe in your family there are a lot of struggles where they're not sure where every meal is going to come. They don't have every financial detail looking cared for the next 20 years. But you can still talk about every day the Lord will take care of them. This is a promise. And the Lord will take care of them. And even if parents die, even if the nation were to go to war, even if it's a financial crash, the Lord will still take care of them. The Lord is going to be their shepherd. They're going to lack nothing. Now, when I think of Psalm 23, verse 1, the Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing, I also think of this little song that is a great one for kids to learn. I am Jesus' little lamb, ever glad at heart I am. I'm not a good singer, so I know you don't want me to sing it, but I will anyway. I am Jesus' little lamb, ever glad at heart I am. Okay, that's enough. But I learned it, and that brings it home. Now, that hymn is maybe known for something kids would sing, but it really was written for adults. So this is a reminder that this is not talking about your kids, how they're sheep. This is reminding you that you're sheep. And you have the ultimate shepherd, and what he's done is he's entrusted you to shepherd the sheep that are now underneath you, the sheep that are even more foolish and more unable to protect themselves than you are. This is our task. This is our job, and that's why it's a good idea to take some Bible verses and make sure they're in their hearts so they have something to hang their faith on. That when it seems like they're in big trouble, they can go, wait, the Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing. Jesus, he's that good shepherd who's done everything for you and me and our kids. He calls us by name and guides us, and he laid down his life for us. And he gives us the example of what we want to do for our kids. Thank you, Jesus, for laying down your life and being our shepherd. As parents, we're never going to lack anything. If you have any questions, comments, please send them to pastorsteinberg@gmail.com. Thanks for taking 600 seconds so Christ doesn't take second in your life. Please look forward to next week. We're going to continue through 18 different power verses as we disciple our children. If you got time and if you got boys, you might want to consider listening to Gird Up, the podcast. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord look on you with favor and give you peace. Amen.